If you want less bounces and want more penetration and want to know how to hit bounces and not miss, then watch this video.
That's all for you.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy here, Deceptive, former tank driver of the 2nd RTR Regiment's tank, codenamed Jezebel. Trust me, when I say ricochet, we don't want this. We want penetrations. So, how are we going to get about that? This video, this guide. So, what this video and this guide is going to do is it's going to explain to you how to do that. So, first things first, I want to cover some myths versus facts for you guys. Okay, myth 1. Fully aimed shots are a guaranteed hit. No. Fact is, it means the shell will land somewhere inside the reticle with the center of bias, i.e. the 2 sigma system. It is not a guarantee. Myth number 2. RNG decides pens. Fact. RNG rolls pen, but you choose the armor, the angle, and and where you shoot at. Okay? RNG can only do so much. You have to do the rest. Myth number 3. Shots always go to the edge. Facts. Wargaming have openly said that only 4.6% of shots land on the edge under the 2 sigma system model. So, another myth. RNG is rigged per players. Fact. Most proof, i.e. clips, ignoring bloom, aim state, target movement, angle, easy to demonstrate with a side-by-side example. If you take the same replays of the same tanks on the same maps, different games of course, and you replay them, you'll see that if you say, take an Ares 75, okay, you've got 2 Ares 75s, they're doing their thing, they're dacking away, but one Ares seems to penetrate more shots than the other Ares. Is that RNG, or is that just skill? Got to take into account, RNG is only, I would say RNG is anywhere between 20 and 30% of the battle. The rest is up to you, hence this video, and I hope it helps. Now, how is this talking head going to help you become a better tanker? Well, as you can see, here is my garage, or garage, if you want to pronounce it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can greatly reduce your bloom or dispersion, which means you're going to hit your target a lot more easier. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare a whole bunch of heavy tanks, okay? Lots and lots of heavy tanks. So, because heavy tanks are the most easiest to explain the dispersion factors with. Most notably, we're going to take a look at the KV2. Okay, so if we take a look at the KV2, put our crew back in, like so. And I'm actually going to swap out the gun back to the big dirt cannon. Okay, we're going to mount it. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Because the KV2 is not a KV2 with a dirt cannon. So, as you can see, KV2's dirt cannon. If we go to About Vehicle, and then we go to characteristics. Now here on the characteristics window, I'm going to move myself down for a second. Okay, you're going to see under firepower, right here, you're going to see this dispersion at 100 meters. Now, as you can see, when you highlight it, it will tell you configurations, crew perks, and crew qualifications. Let me move myself again real quick so you can see it more clearly. Okay, when we take a look at dispersion, going to highlight dispersion. Now, as you can see, it explains at 100 meters. So this is a cumulative, which means further out the target, the bigger the numbers get. I know it's hard to figure out, but just hear me out. Okay, so as you can see, right there are certain things that you can use skills-wise, configuration-wise, and crew-wise to help you get your dispersion, i.e. your ability to hit within the target of where you're aiming down. Now, most notably, and a lot of people don't do this, and I know why, it's because the tank can't have it at this tier, but there is such a thing as a gun stabilizer. Now, gun stabilizers only kick in at tier 6, and only certain tier of tank can get gun stabilizers. But a gun stabilizer in a KV2 would be broken as heck. But what you can use is an experimental proved accuracy, which is in fact a gun stabilizer. So a lot of people don't realize this, but you can actually cram a tier 3 in there and you can get your gun dispersion down to like 0.4 something or other with a fully max crew. So yeah, that explains the dispersion. Now I will throw up some mathematic stuff on the screen for you to take a quick butcher's look at, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now compare that to the accuracy of, let's say we've got tier 5s. No, it is tier 6. So why doesn't it get... That is odd. It doesn't get a gun stabilizer. Interesting. Does the French gun? No, it doesn't. Also, heavies don't get a gun stabilizer. That is odd, because I know medium tanks do. Take a look at my Sherman AZ-8 gun stabilizer. Even though technically the Sherman came with a gun stabilizer. That is odd. I've learned something new myself. So, fundamentally, the difference between you hitting your shot or not, you guaranteeing that pen or not, is roughly down to the crew. There are a host of factors. Crew being one of them, equipment being another one, position that you're in is another one. That's another key element, is position. If you're out of position, if your target is out of position, you're just not going to penetrate. Then you do have the overmatch mechanic. Now, the overmatch mechanic, I'm going to simplify it. The overmatch mechanic is my shell caliber is larger than the overall thickness of your actual side armor. So this is a 152mm shell. Okay, it's right there. If you highlight it, right there, caliber 152. My side armor on my Sherman is nowhere near 152mm thick. So if we go to armor, take a look, you'll see it's only 38mm thick. So if this tank is side scraping, i.e. the majority of the tank here is protected, and all you can see is the sidewalls like here, and I hit you with HE, it's going to normalize, penetrate, do damage, and hurt you. So HESH, APCR won't, and AP rounds might not. Okay, so again, HE will, because HE doesn't normally have to pen. It doesn't normalize like that. Even though Wargaming have said that sometimes some HE shells that should have penetrated but didn't is a fluke in the game mechanic, and they are working on that. Again, Wargaming are always constantly working to fix problems like that. So, but remember, you can always overmatch. If need be, you can always overmatch. There's no overpressure, thank Christ, because if there was, whoo, it would be an open top tank destroyer. That's all I need to say. So that understands the dispersion. Now let's talk about penetration, giggity. And I'm going to use the Sherman for an example. Okay, so we've got 2 rounds here. Okay, this was on the A1 gun. So we've got our standard armor piercing shell here, and we've got our armor piercing composite rigid APCR. Now, the difference between these two shells isn't just necessarily raw penetration, it's also velocity. So this is another thing you've got to take into account. If you're shooting at a target that's moving more than 300 meters away, you're going to have to lead your target, which means you're going to have to aim a little bit in front of the target, not where the target's at, because if you do, he's going to move, you're going to miss. Okay, you always need to lead your target some. Okay, always lead your target some. Now, bear in mind, my overall accuracy is 68%. I want to say 60-something% overall accuracy in water tanks, regardless of what tank I'm in. Artillery, light tank, heavy tank, tank destroyer, doesn't matter. That should tell you something. Okay, so average damage, yes. 9 times out of 10 on a low roll with this, you might as well have just got out and just thrown a rock at the tank to do damage in a Sherman. However, penetration value is what we're looking at. Notice that there's 2 values. The higher number first is literally 100 meters, which is considered point blank range. Anything below 100 meters, that number's not going to increase. 177 is what it is. Past 177, it decreases by, I think, 0.2%. So 20% decrease past 100 meters. So 120 meters, 130 meters, 140 meters, you're going to go down from 177 on the APCR down to about 150 something. Yeah, see right there. The lowest it will ever only go to is 158. Okay, so you got to understand, even if they're 500 meters away or outside of your render range, okay, and you shoot, your maximum penetration is only 158 millimeters. So now you know the difference between penetrations. Again, so we've figured out dispersion, we've figured out penetration. Now let's look at overall alpha damage. Now, there are some skills that you can get Bear in mind, I'm going to have to get to my high tier Germans for this one. There is a few skills you can get, most notably on your loader and your gunner, and that is called ammo tuning. If you pick up the skill ammo tuning, it is going to reduce the 2 sigma range from this to that. I'll post a video clip of it here. Here you'll see my Scorpion G, and you'll see a pop-up telling me that my minimum alpha is now this, my maximum alpha is now this. That is due to the skill ammo tuning. Now, 2 loaders can take ammo tuning at the same time, and yes, the perks do stack up to a cap of 4%, which is 2% per loader. Now, also your gunner. Your gunner can also get skills that are going to help. Again, as you can see, armorer, when fully trained, reduces the range of potential damage and potential penetration by 5% sigma. Decreases gun dispersion by 1.5% overall. So that 5% sigma. So if you're now normally plus 25, neg 25 plus 25, you're now at a flat neg 2020. Including your loaders, it now goes down to 19. It now goes up to 25, 26, 27, up to 28. Do you see how it works now? So you can reduce your overall lower rolls and increase your overall higher rolls using specific crew skills. Most notably your loader and your gunner. Okay, again, why? Gunner knows where to shoot, loader knows what shell to put in the breech. Plain and simple. It's that easy. Now, there is another skill that you can get that will help overall, but it's more of a soft stat, very similar to like vents. And that is communications expert. You don't have to get this skill, but it is pretty much a really good skill to get. Now, if you get communications expert, and you do damage exceeding your vehicle's initial hit points. So if you're in a 800 hit point tank destroyer and you've done 1600 damage, you've exceeded your initial hit points, which means all your crew passively now get an additional 2.5%. This also includes the sigma on the low rolls and the high rolls for both penetration and alpha. Okay? And even gun dispersion. So technically, you're getting better the more damage you're doing. So think of it like a barbarian going to a barbarian rage. There you go. So, other than that, of course, you've also got other crew skills as well. You've got like emergency. That will come into effect once you've taken damage. Again, another passive 5% to everything. Again, including your sigma of both your alpha and damage and pen and whatnot. So there is a way to not necessarily get rid of that RNG, but more so make that RNG work for you, by reducing your low rolls and increasing your high rolls. So on my Scorpion G, now I will admit my Scorpion G is a maxed out crew. Okay, maxed out crew. Okay, on my Scorpion G, because bear in mind my commander is also my loader. Okay, on my Scorpion G, now again I'm going to show you some little known things about the Scorpion G and why people do like this as a tank destroyer. If we take a look at all 3 of its shells, okay, 630 average damage with 65 average pen, including that sigma of all those perks kicking off on my crew. My pen jumps up to almost 100 millimeters. My alpha goes from 630 to 900. On my APCR rounds, yes, that 311 point blank goes up to 340 something point blank, and it goes from 263 to 310 at long range. I can snipe with this thing, and my alpha goes from 490 all the way up to almost 620, 629 on average. Same again with my base shells. My base shells go from a 246 to a 280, from a 240 something to a 270 something, and my average alpha goes from 490 all the way up to 620, 630 ish. I do more damage than a Suo 130 on average. I will outshoot a Su 130. on average. Because I have the correct skills, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you want, and you are happy, and you do have Woot Premium, like some of us do, you're going to get here. Now, this is the legendary stuff that's designed to help you. Of course, this is the popular stuff. Now, if you look, I've got nothing of that lineup. Nothing. My gear lineup does not match any of those because I make the tank work for me. Okay? So, yes, this is what most common streamers and content creators make, but not me. I go my own way. Now, this is my pseudo stealth spotting build, and this is my spotting sniping build. That's it. And it works for me. It works. I've got 442 view range. Yeah, not the best. 21% concealment. Again, not the best, but the way I play my... But point is, 0.25 dispersion at 100 meters. So, at 500 meters... So we take that 0.25 and we times it by 4. So my dispersion now goes up to 3.9. Just did the math in my head. 3.9. So I'm still going to hit you. And we've already discussed my crew skills. Tried to negate the lack of penetration value. What it truly then comes down to is the RNG of how my opponent plays. Okay, and again, I'm going to throw in a clip here of me shooting an Area 75. He angles just at the right time, and all I end up doing is taking his tracks off. And that sucks. But that's how you do it. Okay, guys? That's it. You figured it out. Maths on the screen. That's it. Now, practice. Go out, take out your favorite tank, whatever it is. Could be a light tank, could be a tank destroyer, could be a heavy. It doesn't matter. Take that tank out. Enjoy. Now you've got this new information. Go with it as you will. Until then, guys, keep your shadows flying, keep your enemies dying. Your Cobra Commander is out. And I'll see you guys on the battlefield.